The Chief Executive of AgriFood Skills Australia, Arthur Blewitt, says its efforts are concentrated in regional models to improve labour and production outcomes across several industries.
I think what we're looking for in regions is to get all the relevant industries that are actually occupying those regions, have jobs in those regions, have enterprises in those regions to work together. And particularly in small regions, small country towns, it's a critical mass you need to make it happen. And the experience in Narrabri, that happened very well because the local community engaged and in fact took on the responsibility to make it happen. And what you also find that most of the jobs and most of the opportunities are common. I mean, whether you work in mining or in agriculture or in horticulture, there's a lot of commonality about how to do a job, have you got the right attitude, have you got the right training to do some basic work. And I think if we can do that, it also provides a much better capacity to actually create good jobs, which might be between two industries. I mean, if you might work in mining during their up season, you might work in agriculture during their up season. So importantly, that's what we're trying to do, is to work where you've got a critical mass of people, look at the commonalities, give them some general training, and importantly hope that they'll go on to do some further qualifications. The organisations that we represent employ about 900,000 Australians, deliver about 200 billion in economic benefits to the community, and probably most importantly attract about 20% of Australia's export earnings, and that's really what does drive your growth and your well-being. So all of the majority of our enterprises are based in the regions. The regions have great challenges in trying to get people to go and live and work there, and we want to try and work with in the case of Narrabri, with the local community, also with the state government and the federal government, to try and bring it together. Our capacity is to act as a conduit in all that. We have federal contacts, state contacts, and now we've got a nice new contact with the group in Narrabri, and we think we can help that process. We've developed all the models over the years, we've developed reforms in training package development, and our key focus is on attracting and retaining people to our industries, which are mostly in regions. The outcomes today is one, as we heard from the head of the Food and Grocery Council, Kate Carnell, that nobody understands her industry and the opportunities in it. We need to tell people. We're not a well-kept secret. We need to make sure that people know that if you do food technology, you can get jobs in Australia, internationally, well-paid jobs, highly attractive jobs, and I think that needs to be got through. So the thing that's come to us is we need to be involved in the promotion of jobs and in fact the design of jobs, so that they sound, to use Kate's terminology, sexy. Because you're competing with other more attractive industries that have got established reputations for jobs. We don't tell anybody. So that's important. Second thing came out of it was that we're not good employers. We need to actually learn how to employ people better. We need how to understand human resource practices. We need how to pay competitive salaries and wages. We need to train people, because if you train people, they'll tend to show loyalty and stay with you. There's some of the things that came out today. On the education side, we heard this morning of 3 educationists talking about how you actually get young people at school before they actually go into the workforce to get interested in agri-food. And that's where AgriFood Skills Australia is very interested, to work with the schools, the universities, with the students, with their parents, and with the local communities, to ensure that we don't lose those people straight to the cities, that in fact they look to a commitment at least to think about working in the regions.